Hi, welcome Vivienne. It is amazing to be able to virtually connect with you through Zoom. I'm here today to chat with you about competition hairdressing. I'm chairperson of the New Zealand Competitions Committee, and due to COVID, we're not having our live competitions this year, but we are having Instagram competitions, and we want to give so much to our members. You are industry royalty. Absolutely amazing. Your journey from an apprentice at Sassoon's up to his artistic director, moving to the States, being with Trevor Sorbie, hair designer TV, which I think is the most amazing platform for learning. If I had a big salon again these days, you would be the trainer virtually in that salon. It's an incredible, incredible tool. You're way ahead of your time. But today is about competitions, and I guess the first question is, you have been winner of NZARH, which is the North American Hairdressing Awards, 7 times, which is amazing in that huge playing field. So I want to deep dive into your competition career. So prior to NZARH, did you ever compete?
Yes, I did, and thank you, Cathy, for having me be a guest with you today, and a big hello to all my lovely friends in New Zealand. And it's one place I have not been to in the world, and it's a place that I really want to come to, especially right now. So thank you. In answer to your question, I entered the British Hairdressing Awards when I was with Trevor Sorbie, and I entered and I got nominated for London Hairdresser of the Year. And I was up against Trevor Sorbie and Anthony Muscola, and Trevor won. So that was that. And no, I haven't done any other types of competitions. I mean, I've done things like TV shows where they've done like a reality competing against whatever. But no, NZARH has been the only one that I've sort of taken more seriously.
So why did you compete, and what does it give you? What's the reward at the end?
It was one thing only at the time, which was how to market, leverage my brand, and get credibility and recognition. So it was a business decision. It wasn't an artistic decision, because I've been happy doing photo shoots my entire career. And so I actually had a negative view of competing. And in the past, some of the hair competitions have been quite fuddy-duddy. But one thing I do know, from fuddy-duddy to the really cool competitions that are out there, is that when you compete, you go to a whole nother level within yourself. It pushes you to discover things that you may not even know about yourself. So that driving force is a powerful force, and getting uncomfortable, being challenged, sometimes having a crisis in the moment, it really draws on who you are, and very often greatness comes from it. So I think on a creative level and a technical level, it's a wonderful thing to push you, because just imagine football players, for example, running around a field with their ball, all looking very cute, with no goalposts. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it, really? They'd just be all running around, but the goalposts give it the game, and it gives it a way to measure. And when you can measure what you're doing, then you know where you are and where you can go. And so you've got to have some sort of goal. And also, when it's a healthy competition, as I say, it brings out your greatness.
Thank you, that's amazing. I have found what competition has done for me is that it improves your salon work, it improves your skills, because you have that dedicated training night after night, day after day. You're also researching and thinking. So how would you prepare for a NZARH competition?
Well, first of all, I've been nominated probably more times than I've won. I've been nominated a lot. And so when one's preparing for something like this, part of the preparation is the mental preparation of, well, what happens if I win? And what happens if I don't win? And what happens if I get nominated? And what happens if I don't get nominated? Because your journey to create your collection, no one can take that journey away from you. And actually, if you were to come to my studio, my awards are tucked away on a shelf, kind of out of the way, that I don't even have them public. It's not because
I've seen them.
You've seen them, but right now they're not even visible for people to look at. And it's not to disrespect the award, but it's just like, no one can take my experience of creating the collection away from me. But at the end of the day, you do kind of, the victory part does kind of wane a little tiny bit. So when I'm working on a collection, first of all, I've only actually intentionally shot for NZARH once, as in, I'm going to enter NZARH, which category am I going to enter, which was Masters, looking at the rules and being clear about what I could do, what I couldn't do within the rules. And then from there, starting to create my collection. I don't actually look at what other people have done. I want to come from my authentic self. As I say, following the rules is really important. And then I start to look for concepts, and I look everywhere and anywhere. And I may have several ideas that I haven't used, and I'll think, okay, well then why don't we just go with that idea? Sometimes I draw silhouettes. Sometimes I'll just play with the hair. Then I gather my team together, because I have a great team that I've worked with over the years. And I then start to look at, as the collective, what can we do that's really exciting and new? So I have a great team. If I'm working with hair pieces or hair extensions or any of that kind of stuff, then I've got to go into my prep time, and I do all my prep work. I photojournal everything I do, which is, I think, very, very important to photojournal, so that you can see as you're progressing where the opportunities lie, and some things you need to walk away from and then return the next day and go, actually, I was giving myself a hard time over that. Possibly that's got legs. And very often when things go wrong, it's the doorway to something going right, something new, something innovative. So mine begins with intention, looking for an idea, and then starting to build my story. I don't think, oh, let's go and do a short haircut and a long haircut and an up style. I think of a story, and the story must be cohesive, from the fashion to the lighting of my photography, through to the makeup, the model that I cast. All of those things must be cohesive. So there's a beautiful collection.
Do you build a storyboard together prior to this for your team?
Sometimes they do. Not always. Sometimes I like to be very much more organic. And so I may have some references. And then I'll throw the references away, because I say I don't want to copy. It's one thing to be inspired, but I think it's, especially for a competition, you've got to have originality. So that's a very important part. So that part varies. And many times because I'm shooting a lot, I will just go look at my collections and go, oh, maybe I'll just enter that one because I've already got it. And that collection was born out of something that was inspired at that time, and I just submit it if it fits the profile. So for right now, I have collections that I've been intentionally doing that are much more commercial, because I've been doing hair designer TV. So I did a collection called Metallica, which has, I just wanted to have sexy commercial hair. And then my recent collection was all on ponytails. So they're very sexy, lots and lots of ponytails. Would they fit NZARH? I don't know, maybe no, because they are very commercial. So you have to be very mindful of that. And there's no point in going into it unless you really are inspired, because it's going to be a lot of work, time, money, emotion, energy. So there's a lot of things that go into it. So you've really got to go in passionate.
Thank you. Some of our competitors, because this is an Instagram competition, are going to be photographing their own work. Do you have any little tips that could help them?
Oh yeah, well, first of all, the environment. So I'm in my bedroom right now. I left my studio and I'm in my bedroom. So there were things here, and I thought, I can't have those in there, so I got rid of them, right? And then I thought, should I take the painting off the wall? I thought, no, that can stay. But you have to look at your space, because if this space adds to the style, then the environment brings you in. And so many times people are so busy looking at the hair that they're not looking at the composition of the photograph and asking themselves, is this the best light? Like, move your camera around. I mean, with a phone, at least you can move around and you can go up and down, and you can look like a detective to find the most sweet light, find the most interesting background. And you could go around and actually just take photographs of backgrounds and then look at the photographs and go, okay, that's a beautiful background. So that background, that hair could be really gorgeous there, or let's just simply do white. So So many times people do nice hair and it's either the background that is horrible, the lighting that is horrible, or the angle that is not pleasing. So you've got to find with a model, or if she's not even a professional model, you've got to find where does she look, that lady or that gentleman, they're most gorgeous. And again, you need to look through your camera or your phone and just go, okay, where does she look gorgeous? And keep taking photographs and then study them. Don't just take a picture and go. Study and study, because at least today in the digital world, you can control what you're doing, right? So that's huge. So that's very important because that makes your work expensive. For Instagram too, are there rules to the competition as to the categories that they're going to submit?
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah. Are there rules to what the hairstyle categories are for the Instagram?
Absolutely. And I was going to get to that, because one of the reasons that I have brought you on board is that you have a mantra that trends change and classics sustain. So one of our first competitions is the bob in its many forms,
Mm-hmm.
and rules around that, and how it's photographed and how they do it. Obviously in live competitions there've been a time frame, but with the Instagram competition there isn't.
Right.
So it's looking at the biggest thing that we'll be judging it on is technical excellence.
Mm-hmm.
So how well it is technically executed, and the balance and the line, suitability to the model, and how it's at the composition, how it's all dressed.
Bob's not an easy one to photograph, because when you're doing a bob, for example, if you've got this side as the bob and you've got this side here, what you're seeing from the inside of the bob can be different from what you're seeing on the outside of the bob. So that's a really, really important thing to be very aware of. So bobs are not easy. And again, you can, I have many great quotes. I'm not sure whether they're mine or whether I've stole them a long time ago, because they feel like they're mine. But I do say that style is timeless and fashion is fleeting. So if you want something to really pop, if you get both, then wow. And you know, how you finish the hairstyle also is so critically important. You know, that what kind of texture is that going to be? And clearly today, with the environment that we're living in, we've got a divide in the road. We've got people who've been confined for, in our case here, 3 months. So they have got used to wash and wear and casual. And now going back into the salons, we're seeing a return of very casual wash and wear hairstyling. So there's that one. They've loved living in pajamas for a long period of time. Then there's the other ones who are so sick of being casual, they now want to be glamorous and fabulous because they're tired of being unkept. So when you look at your Instagram, that could be a source of inspiration right there. Either going very glam and very stylized in your bob, or going the other way, very natural and very, very organic. So the accessories and the environment are conducive to shiny and polished, relaxed and undone.
Our sections are, we have a new talent section, we have next generation, we have senior, and they'll all be entering that bob section under their own categories. If you were judging a bob, what would be the couple of things that, one, the good things that you'd be looking for, and two, the things that would put you off?
Suitability, first of all, because I don't care how perfect your bob is. If it doesn't suit the person who's wearing it, I don't care, because it's about making the person look amazing. The hair should be part of them. They shouldn't be like a wedding cake stuck on their head that looks awkward. So suitability is number one. Number two is the balance and the proportion of the hairstyle, how well that's balanced. How fresh and modern is it? Because the modernness of it's very important to be aware of. You know, how on trend is it? And just how well it's been photographed.
So in 2020, which has only been 6 months, and huge changes in the world, there's been a lot of online education, a lot of people posting. Is there anyone that's stood out and inspired you in 2020?
I still have my favorites. I still thoroughly enjoy Guido because he continues to innovate. I still thoroughly enjoy Garen, who continues to innovate. Danilo, who, by the way, is going to be our guest on Monday. And I am just beyond excited. I've been spending time with him over the last couple of weeks, looking at his body of work and digging into his mind. And we have an amazing show on Monday with Danilo. So he's awesome. Antoinette Binders continues to pump out gorgeous work. I follow only a few people who are people that truly inspire me. Sam McKnight, another amazing one. Eugene Suleiman, Angelo Simonera. Those are the ones that are always an inspiration. Peter Gray, who actually, Peter Gray is a true innovator because Peter came from the Sassoon world, but now lives in the editorial world. So he's great because he has discipline and he follows the rules and breaks the rules.
They're amazing people. And I know you've had a lot to do with them. But in the world as it is now, and there's changes, and you have connections with all these hair people, what advice would you give anybody, any stylist moving forward and a business owner?
I think
you've almost said it, but
well, I think this time is unprecedented globally because when it's like when one goes into war. Okay, my father was a major in the army in World War II, and when he went into war, he knew who the enemy was. It was pretty clear. It wasn't invisible. He knew where it was, and he was trained for it. With a pandemic, with a virus that's an energy field, you can't see it. It's an energy. It's not like on a petri dish and it's some bacteria. It's not like mold on your food where you can go, oh, penicillin, right? You can't see it. And we're not trained for it. And the officials are all scratching their heads saying, what do we do? What do we do? Wear masks, don't wear masks, do this, don't do this. I mean, it's all a guessing game. It's sort of, the science is not exact at all because it's an energy field. So with that in mind, I think out of crisis comes incredible opportunity. So it's a question of how do you adapt? What can you do differently? And I think every single person's had to press their reset button. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that question, do they want to be a hairdresser anymore? And they will quit. And they were going to quit anyway. It just accelerated the quitting. I know that there are a lot of people that couldn't wait to get back to start doing hair again. They missed their clients, they missed that connection, they missed the paycheck, but they missed the art as well. So I know there's a lot of people that are going to go back with more enthusiasm and more passion, and they're going to want to do it differently and better. I also think that the consultation has a new place now, because how do you do a consultation and design to someone's face shape when it's hidden? And one of the things that I've been saying to people is ask your client to take a photograph of themselves, the front and a profile, hair around their face and hair away, when they come into the salon, so that you can look at the photograph of them. And that's exactly what I do when I'm designing a collection. I look at the photograph of the model because the model's not there. I may not see the model for weeks, but I've booked the model. So now I have to design to her face. So I keep looking at the composite card. Then I go back to my work and I take a picture of what I've done on a mannequin or a wig or a hairpiece. And then I marry them together and I say, is that going to suit this girl's face? I haven't seen her. And if I study her face and I analyze her face, when I meet her, the hair will go on her because I've actually been designing blindly, well, semi-blind, but because I use that as a strategy, I can see what's going on. So that's a huge thing, because people need to feel cared for more than ever before. They need to feel safe. They need to feel a sense of trust. So these things are really important. So the consultation is going to be different. And it's our responsibility to make that choice, which is why, as you know, Cathy, on Hair Designer TV, I have Who is Sitting in Your Chair, which is all about the consultation. So I think we have to look at that differently. The narrative behind the chair will change, because if you're wearing a mask, are you guys wearing masks? You froze.
Rose, yes.
Are you guys wearing masks with your clients?
No,
You're not?
no, no.
Oh,
We were in the beginning,
okay.
but I would check with clients if they wanted us to wear a mask or if they were wearing a mask. The hand sanitizing is huge and should always be in our industry,
Sure.
but it's almost life as normal, but everyone's aware.
Oh,
And
okay. Okay. So it's still a law here that everyone has to wear masks. So we're dealing with that challenge. But in spite of that, I think that when you press your reset button, you have to look at what's important in your life. Where do you want to put your passion? Where do you want to work so hard? Maybe you don't want to work as hard. Maybe you want more quality life as opposed to quantity life. So I think it's a very individual time to reflect. It's a great time to reinvent yourself. And I think also a lot of clients from being confined have this yearning to be reinvented, because for us, 3 months is quite some time. No one went back for a trim. Everyone's had a makeover because their hair grew out so much, right? So we're being pushed in a quite a different way. And for us, we're in a more serious place, definitely, than you guys are. So you're very blessed to be where you are. And I hope you can appreciate how fortunate all of you are to be in a great country where you, God willing, will be safe and well protected.
We definitely are. We're very aware of that. We're lucky, very lucky. But I
Yeah.
do think, just to recap, I guess one of my most amazing experiences has been coming out to you in the Hamptons in New York and doing the incredible training, going right back to face shapes and the things that matter in hairdressing, and to the client, and the consultation is the most amazing thing. And going back to the salons this time, I have been asking clients, because I've been getting a lot of new clients because it's a time for change. I'm asking them to send their photographs through, and they do it willingly. And then you're prepared for them. You are able to already have something lined up, and they know that you're caring and thinking. And that's what we want as people. You know, the guests in the salon deserve our best.
And there's so,
Competition.
also too, we found that people are now sick and tired of digital. They want the human connection. They want that. So it takes you to another place of how special it is to connect with someone in person. What a different dynamic it is. And of course, this is wonderful via Zoom to be able to be talking to you on Saturday morning. Is it Saturday morning?
It's Saturday morning here. I was already yesterday morning, but hey.
Yeah, so I know there's a future because you're in it, and so here it is. I think it's like 7 o'clock. It's in the evening. It's 6:30 here in New York. So yeah, it's a fascinating time. But you know what? The cream will always rise to the top. And when you're passionate about what you do and you do things with intention, clear intention, there's so much power in that, because when you put that intention out to the world, whether it be, I want to win that competition. I mean, I've met people that did the North American Hairdressing Awards. I met somebody that won, and she said she'd entered 15 times. And the 16th time was the charm. She didn't give up. And she learned something interesting every single time. So, just go for it and have fun. Happy people live a whole lot longer than grumpy people. And happy people are 3 times more creative and 27% financially more successful. So find your happy factor, because then you are in that place of bliss. You have intention, you have a goal, you have clarity, you're going to do it to your very best of your best. You learn, you get mentors around you. It's not rocket science. Just look at what has won in the past and go, okay, what can I do that's different, and make it my own, right? So in the beginning we copy, that's called mentoring, and that's part of training. And in the end, you make it your own so that your authenticity can shine through.
Well, Vivienne, that has been fantastic advice. It's been awesome chatting with you, and all those amazing New Zealand hairdressers out there, even if you've just started, in 3 months, you can still enter these competitions. So listen to Vivienne's advice, put it out there, and look forward to seeing the amazing pics coming through. Yeah. Thank you, Vivienne.
Oh, thank you, Cathy. Thank you. And bye, everybody, and good luck.
Yeah. Stop recording now.